Hello and welcome to At the Red Line Podcast. This is my 3-thought video for today. I'm in Numbers to start. The book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 20. The Lord said to Aaron, "You'll have no inheritance in their land, nor will you have any share among them. I am your share and your inheritance." And it's one of those little verses that I think that we can take comfort from, that God wants us to really trust, not in money, not in land, not in our parents, not in our own strength, our own intuition, our own abilities to provide for ourselves, but He wants to be our provision. Aaron was the high priest. He was the one that would bring the offerings, and he had no land. He had no inheritance. The land and the money that might have been raised by his parents and grandparents and his clan was all given away to someone else, and he was just to trust that God would provide for him and his family. It's a great opportunity for us to realize that God wants us to trust Him. And even now, I go through stuff and worry about, I'm 62 years old, just started taking Social Security and wondering how things are going to, end for me and what's going to be my provision. But God is saying, I am your provision. I am your inheritance. I am what makes you whole, what is to take care of you in the long run. And then moving to Song of Solomon, chapter 4, verse 16. Let my lover come into his garden and taste its choice fruits. And boy, this is such an interesting verse and such a delight for me. And yet it speaks of an intimacy. The lover and the beloved, the woman is calling to the man, "Hey, come into your garden. I'm your garden, and taste the fruit of my my life and my body," right? She is desiring intimacy and desiring for him to come and taste all of the goodness that comes from mutual affection and love and intimacy. And it's a classic verse that describes the desire of God's beloved to call to God and be open to Him, to come and love us and hold us and keep us and delight in us. So often we think about how we receive from God delight and good, but God is receiving delight and good from us as we surrender His garden to Him, as we surrender our lives, our body, our mind, our strength to God. He delights in us in ways that we can't fathom, but it's better than anything else on the planet. Being loved by God is the best thing there is, and God so delights to love us. Finally, in Luke chapter 23, verse 34, Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing." Of course, He's on the cross. He's beside two thieves. And my first thought was, I wonder what would have happened if He didn't say that, right? If Jesus didn't say, "Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing." But in the end, I really thought of the blindness that happens in rebellion, in sin, as we become overrun by sin and rebellion and rejection of God. There is a blindness there that happens. There is this sense where we cannot see the forest for the trees. All common sense goes away, and we just are blinded by our own desire for self-rule and self-protection and self-love and self-will and all these things we want to have for ourselves, instead of yielding to God, who is good and generous and kind and loving and so for us. But we can reject Him and become blind in doing so, where we have no sense, no common sense, no understanding of what is really going on. And of course, Jesus is saying, "Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing," as they're crucifying Him, putting Him on a cross, actually saying to those that are responsible for His death, don't hold this against them. against them, but he's really saying it to us, right? He's really saying it to us because we nail Jesus to the cross when we sin and rebel and go our own way. And so in our own sin and rebellion, even as Christians, as non-believers, help us understand. God, I pray that you would help us understand how sin has a blinding, corrosive influence on our lives, how we become blinded by it. That's all for today. I hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you next time.